Are you sure you can even afford this ticket? Flight attendant Karen Thompson sneered as she tore the boarding pass from the young woman's hand. The scraps fluttered to the floor, scattering around her worn sneakers. The first-class cabin froze. A businessman leaned forward, phone raised. A woman gasped, covering her mouth. A child whimpered until his mother pulled him close. 24 pairs of eyes locked on the girl in faded jeans, her face burning with humiliation. The young woman only frowned, staring Karen down. "I bought this ticket legally. You can check. Leave this plane immediately." Karen cut her off, voice sharp, eyes blazing. She snatched up her radio and barked into it.
We've got a passenger
Captain, we've got a passenger
ticket.
using a fake ticket. What no one in the cabin knew, what no one could possibly imagine, was that this moment would ignite a firestorm. In exactly 93 minutes, the entire world would know her name. But who really was this fraudulent passenger, and why would her story shake an entire airline to its core? Keep reading. Maya Johnson stood at gate 27, studying her reflection in the terminal glass. The Armani suit hung loose on her narrow shoulders. She'd lost weight during the acquisition negotiations. 3 all-nighters, 17 board meetings, and 1 hostile takeover later, she owned Sky Horizon Airlines. Every plane, every route, every employee, including the ones about to board this flight. Her phone buzzed. 47 missed calls from the board of directors. She silenced it. Today wasn't about corporate politics. Today was about something deeper, something personal. Protocol 7, she whispered to her phone, activating the encrypted recording app she'd developed at 15, back when she was coding in foster care, dreaming of a world that didn't look at her skin first and her mind second. The app silently connected to her legal team, her PR firm, and 3 major news outlets. Everything that happened next would be documented, witnessed, and broadcast. She'd bought Sky Horizon for $3.7 billion, but that wasn't the real price. The real price was 12 years of being followed in stores, 7 years of being told she didn't look like a tech founder, and 1 specific incident 6 months ago when Sky Horizon had bumped her from first class because someone more appropriate needed the seat. That someone had been white, male, and as it turned out, a mid-level sales executive who'd laughed when security escorted her off the plane. She'd started planning that very night. The Lifetime Diamond Elite badge sat heavy in her purse. The highest status Sky Horizon offered, reserved for those who flew over 500,000 miles annually or spent over $250,000. She'd earned it legitimately before the acquisition, before anyone knew that M. Johnson on the corporate documents was Maya, not Michael, as they'd all assumed. "Now boarding Group 1, our first-class passengers," the gate agent announced. Maya approached, ticket in hand. The agent, a young man named Derek, smiled professionally until he saw her face. The smile flickered. His eyes darted to her ticket, then back to her face, then to the ticket again. "May I see some ID, miss?" She handed over her passport. He studied it far longer than necessary, typed something into his computer, frowned. "1 moment, please." "Stand aside." 3 white passengers walked past, tickets barely glanced at, welcomed aboard with warm smiles. Maya stood to the side, watching, recording. The familiar burn of humiliation mixed with something new anticipation. Her phone vibrated, a message from her head of security. "All cameras operational." Legal team standing by. Karen Thompson emerged from the jet bridge, her senior flight attendant pin gleaming. 23 years with the airline, known for her exceptional service to premium passengers. Also known in certain circles for her particular views on who deserved that service. "Is there a problem, Derek?" Karen's voice carried the authority of seniority. "This young lady has a first-class ticket, but—" Karen's eyes swept over Maya. The assessment took 2 seconds. "Let me handle this." She took Maya's ticket, made a show of examining it, then looked Maya directly in the eyes. "How did you get this ticket?" "I purchased it." "Really?" The word dripped skepticism. "This is a $15,000 ticket." "I'm aware of the price." Karen's lips pursed. She held the ticket up to the light as if checking for forgery, then typed rapidly on Derek's computer. "The name doesn't match our records properly. Our first-class cabin has certain standards." Behind them, passengers lined up, growing impatient. Several pulled out phones, sensing drama. Maya kept her expression neutral, but inside, her heart raced. Not with fear, with the thrill of a trap about to spring. "What standards would those be?" Maya asked, voice steady. Karen smiled, the kind of smile that never reached the eyes. "Security standards, comfort standards. We need to ensure all our premium passengers have the experience they expect. Translation: you don't belong here. You're making white passengers uncomfortable. We both know why you're really being questioned." Maya glanced at her phone. The recording had already been viewed by 10,000 people. In 60 seconds, it would be 100,000. The hunt had begun. But Karen Thompson didn't know she was the prey. Karen Thompson gripped Maya's ticket between her manicured fingers, then did something that would replay 50 million times in the next hour. She tore it in half. The sound cracked through the boarding area like a gunshot. 23 phones rose in unison, cameras focused. The shreds of the $15,000 ticket floated to the ground like snow. "Oops," Karen said, her smile sharp as glass. "Looks like you'll need to purchase another ticket. Economy has availability." Maya stood perfectly still. Behind her, she heard gasps, whispers, the click of cameras. Her hands remained at her sides, though every muscle screamed to react. But Protocol 7 required patience, evidence, the perfect moment. "You just destroyed my valid ticket," Maya said, each word clear, measured, loud enough for every phone to catch. "Prove it." Karen's confidence radiated. 23 years of getting away with this. 23 years of knowing who the system protected. "Derek, call security. We have someone trying to board without proper documentation." "I have the receipt on my phone." "Anyone can fake digital documents." Karen stepped closer, lowering her voice just enough that the cameras might miss it, but Maya's concealed mic wouldn't. "Listen carefully. I don't care if you saved for 5 years or if your boyfriend bought it or if you stole it. People like you don't belong in first class. Not on my flight. People like you." There it was, the phrase that would end careers. A mother covered her 8-year-old son's ears. The boy, Marcus, pulled away, eyes wide, watching everything. He clutched a Spider-Man backpack, dark skin like Maya's, seeing himself in this moment. "Ma'am," an elderly passenger intervened. "I saw her ticket." It was legitimate. Karen wheeled on him. "Sir, please let us handle this. It's a security matter now." "Security matter?" The man's voice rose. "She's a young woman trying to board a plane." But Karen had already pressed her calm button. "We need security at gate 27. Possible fraud attempt. Passenger refusing to comply." Maya finally moved, pulling out her phone. "I'd like to call my lawyer." "You can call whoever you want from the police station." Karen's voice carried triumph. She'd won this game before. She'd win it again. 2 airport security officers arrived, hands on their tasers. The crowd backed away. Someone's live stream title updated, "Black Girl Arrested for Flying While Black?" "Miss, we need you to come with us," the first officer said, already reaching for his handcuffs. Maya raised her phone, showing her digital boarding pass. "I have a valid ticket." "This flight attendant destroyed my physical copy. It's all on camera." The officer barely glanced at the screen. "Please turn around and put your hands behind your back." "For what crime?" "Disrupting airport operations. Potential fraud. Trespassing." He grabbed her wrist, spin her around. The cold metal clicked onto her skin. "You have the right to remain silent." "Her name is Maya Johnson," someone shouted from the crowd. "Google her." "She's Maya Johnson." Karen laughed. "Right. And I'm Oprah Winfrey." They marched Maya toward the jet bridge, not away from the plane, but onto it. Karen wanted her to walk past every first-class passenger, handcuffed, humiliated, a lesson for anyone else who might forget their place. The first-class cabin fell silent as they entered. 12 passengers, all white, stared, some with sympathy, most with relief. The disruption was being handled. Captain Williams emerged from the cockpit, 6'3", silver-haired, 30 years of flying. He took one look at Maya in handcuffs and nodded to Karen. "Get her off my aircraft." "Wait," Maya said, loud enough for everyone. "Captain Williams, I need you to know something. Save it for the police." "I own this plane." Silence. Then Karen's harsh laugh. "She's delusional. Get her out." But Maya's phone, still recording, buzzed with an incoming call. The screen lit up with a name everyone could see. FBI Director Morrison. Karen's laugh died in her throat. The hunt was about to turn. Maya let the phone ring 3 times, each tone echoing through the first-class cabin like a countdown. Every passenger leaned forward. The security officer's hands hesitated on her arms. She declined the call. "Take me to economy," Maya said, her voice carrying a strange calm. "I'll sit there." Karen's eyes narrowed. This wasn't the reaction she expected. No screaming, no begging, no tears. Just cold calculation. "You're not sitting anywhere on this plane." "Then we have a problem." Maya shifted, the handcuffs clinking. "Because I'm not leaving." And every second this plane doesn't move, Sky Horizon loses $12,000. Every minute, $72,000. We're at 17 minutes now. Captain Williams checked his watch, jaw tightening. They were already past the departure window. Air traffic control would push them to the back of the queue. That meant 90 minutes minimum delay, missed connections, compensation claims. "Get her off," he ordered. The security officers pulled Maya toward the door. She went limp, not resisting, just dead weight. They had to drag her, and it looked exactly as ugly as she knew it would on the hundreds of phones now streaming. "Karen," Maya said, loud enough for everyone, "what's the policy on discrimination lawsuits?" 20 million? 30? What did United pay for Dr. Dow? Karen's face flushed. "You're threatening us?" "I'm asking a question, just like you asked about my ticket." The plane's temperature rose, air conditioning off to save fuel during boarding. Passengers fanned themselves with safety cards. The woman in 2A pulled up the live stream on her tablet. 50 million viewers now. Comments scrolling too fast to read. Young Marcus from the gate squeezed past everyone, his mother chasing behind. He stopped directly in front of Maya. "Are you really the CEO?" "Marcus, get back here," his mother called. But the boy stood firm, 8 years old with eyes that had already seen too much. "My dad says CEOs don't look like us." Maya met his gaze. "Your dad's been lied to." Karen grabbed Marcus's shoulder. "This woman is disturbed. Don't listen." "Don't touch my son." The mother's voice cracked like a whip. She pulled Marcus back, but her eyes stayed on Maya. Recognition dawning. Maya's phone buzzed. A text appeared on the screen, visible to everyone close enough. "Protocol 7 activated. All major networks notified. Legal injunction filed. FBI investigating civil rights violation." Captain Williams' phone rang, then Karen's, then Derek's at the gate, then every crew member's in sequence. "What did you do?" Karen breathed. "Nothing yet." Maya shifted again, ensuring the cameras caught the handcuffs cutting into her wrists, a small line of blood forming. But in about 30 seconds, this is going to be the lead story on every network. Black teen CEO arrested on her own airline. Has a ring to it, doesn't it? The captain answered his phone. His face went white. Yes, sir. No, sir. I understand, sir. He hung up, turned to security. Uncuff her. Now. Captain? Karen's voice pitched high. That was Morrison. The actual FBI director Morrison. His hands shook. We have a situation. The officers fumbled with the keys, hands slick with sweat. The handcuffs clicked open. Maya rubbed her wrists, the red marks deep, photographable. I'll take economy, Maya repeated. Middle seat. It doesn't matter. You can't, Karen started. Actually, she can. A new voice from the boarding door. A man in a suit, FBI badge gleaming. Agent Harrison, Civil Rights Division. We received a complaint about systematic discrimination on this flight. He looked directly at Karen. We'll need to see all your boarding records for the last 5 years. Karen's knees buckled slightly. 5 years of denied boardings. 5 years of torn tickets. 5 years of people like you. Maya sat down in seat 27E, dead center of economy, between a construction worker and a grandmother. She pulled out her laptop, began typing. The plane still hadn't moved. The clock showed 23 minutes delayed now, and Maya Johnson wasn't going anywhere. The plane sat motionless, 27 minutes, 30, 35. Captain Williams's voice cracked over the intercom. Ladies and gentlemen, we're experiencing a minor administrative delay. We'll be underway shortly. A lie. Nothing about this was minor. Nothing was administrative. This was war. Karen Thompson stood in the galley, her hands gripping the counter until her knuckles went white. Through the curtain separating economy from first class, she could see Maya Johnson typing on her laptop, serene as a Buddha. The construction worker next to Maya had offered his peanuts. The grandmother was showing her pictures of grandchildren. They had no idea who sat between them. But Karen was beginning to understand. The FBI agent remained at the boarding door, documenting everything. His presence meant this wasn't just about one flight. This was about patterns, systems, evidence that Karen had spent years creating. Her phone buzzed, a text from Derek at the gate. Check Twitter. She did. Her stomach dropped. Number sign, Sky Horizon. Karen was trending worldwide. Someone had found her employee photo, placed it next to Maya's LinkedIn profile. The contrast was devastating. The bitter-faced white woman who'd torn up a ticket next to the teenage CEO who owned the entire airline. 60 million viewers now. 70. Climbing. A first-class passenger stood up, phone in hand. Excuse me, is it true? Is that girl really the CEO? Karen forced a smile. Please remain seated, sir. But if she owns the airline, please remain seated. The man sat but kept filming. They all kept filming. The plane had become a stage, and Karen was the villain everyone was waiting to see destroyed. Captain Williams emerged from the cockpit again, his face the color of ash. He motioned Karen over, whispered, "Corporate just called. The entire C-suite is watching." The old CEO, Richardson, confirmed it. She's real. That girl owns us. That's impossible. The acquisition was sealed through offshore holdings. Nobody knew M. Johnson was Maya, not Michael. She played us. His voice dropped lower. Karen, what did you do? My job. I protected our premium cabin from what? From whom? His eyes blazed. Say it. Say what you protected us from. She couldn't. Not with the FBI listening, not with the cameras rolling. The words that came so easily in private now stuck in her throat like glass. Maya stood up in economy. Every head turned. She walked slowly toward first class, each step measured, deliberate. The FBI agent didn't stop her. Nobody did. She had the power here, even if they didn't fully understand it yet. She stopped at the curtain. Karen, I need to speak with you. Return to your seat. I need to tell you something important. I said, your husband, David Thompson, works for Stellar Financial, correct? Karen froze. How did she know that? They manage Sky Horizon's pension fund, $800 million in assets. Maya's voice carried no emotion, just facts. I spoke with Stellar's CEO this morning. They're concerned about their relationship with us going forward. The threat was surgical. Not just Karen's job, her husband's too. Their mortgage, their kids' college funds, everything. You wouldn't. I wouldn't have to. Maya held up her phone, showing the live stream. 90 million people watching now. How long before Stellar decides the Thompsons are too much of a liability? A passenger in first class stood a white woman in her 60s, diamonds at her throat. Young lady, I don't know what your game is, but this is harassment. Maya turned to her. Ma'am, what's your name? Patricia Walterson. Mrs. Walterson, you fly first class often? Every week. Ever see anyone who looks like me in first class? Patricia's mouth opened, closed. The question hung in the air like smoke from a fire nobody wanted to acknowledge. Marcus, the 8-year-old boy, had somehow gotten into first class. He tugged on Maya's jacket. Are you really rich? Marcus! His mother rushed forward. It's okay, Maya said, kneeling to his level. Yes, Marcus. I'm really rich. Then why were you in handcuffs? The question of the century. Maya looked up at Karen, then back at Marcus. Because sometimes people see your skin before they see anything else. That's not fair. No, it's not. Captain Williams's phone rang again. He answered, his face cycling through confusion, shock, fear. He hung up, walked to Maya. Miss Johnson, that was the FAA. They're grounding all Sky Horizon flights nationwide until this situation is resolved. Gasps rippled through the cabin. Grounding an entire airline. That was hundreds of flights, thousands of passengers, millions in losses per hour. That seems extreme, Maya said calmly. You did this? Karen's voice cracked. You're destroying the airline because of hurt feelings? No. I'm exposing what's been happening for years. Maya pulled up something on her phone. Would you like to see the complaint files? 312 discrimination reports against you personally. All buried, all ignored. The FBI agent stepped forward. We'll need those files. Maya forwarded them with a tap. Done. Karen's legs gave out. She collapsed into a jump seat. 312 complaints, each one a career-ending lawsuit. Together, they were a criminal pattern. I have children, she whispered. So did I, Maya replied. When my parents died, I was 12. Know how many foster homes rejected me because I was too dark? Know how many times I was told I'd never amount to anything? The plane was silent except for the hum of live streams, the quiet sob of realization. Maya's phone buzzed. She looked at it, smiled. Sky Horizon's stock just dropped 18%. Every minute we sit here, it drops more. She looked at Captain Williams. Captain, would you like to keep your job? He nodded quickly. Then here's what's going to happen. Maya's voice carried absolute authority. Karen Thompson is suspended immediately, pending investigation. Every passenger on this plane gets a full refund plus a year of free flights. And I'm taking my seat in first class, not because I need it, but because I paid for it. She turned back to Karen. You asked how someone like me could afford that ticket. The answer is simple. I bought the whole airline just to buy that ticket. Just to be here. Just for this moment. Karen's tears fell freely now. 23 years destroyed in 33 minutes. But Maya wasn't done. The real revelation was coming. Maya reached into her purse and pulled out an iPad. The screen illuminated her face as she swiped through documents. Every passenger leaned forward, the cabin silent except for the electronic hum of anticipation. Karen, before we continue, I want you to see something. Maya turned the iPad toward her. Recognize this? On the screen, an internal Sky Horizon email from 3 years ago. Karen's name at the top. The subject line, Cabin Appearance Standards Unofficial Guidelines. Karen's face drained of all remaining color. How did you... I own the servers now. Every email, every deleted file, every buried complaint. Maya scrolled down. Should I read it aloud? The part where you describe undesirable passenger profiles? That was taken out of context. Context? Maya laughed, sharp and bitter. Let me provide context. Line 47. Urban appearance suggests potential security risk. Recommend additional screening and downgrade when possible. The FBI agent stepped closer, reading over Maya's shoulder. His expression hardened. Maya swiped again. Here's another. Your performance review from last year. Karen Thompson excels at maintaining premium cabin ambiance. Signed by Captain Williams. All eyes turned to the captain. He backed against the cockpit door. I didn't know what she meant. You didn't? Maya swiped again. This is your email back. Quote, keep up the excellent work. Our first-class satisfaction scores among key demographics have never been higher. Key demographics. Everyone knew what that meant. A notification popped up on Maya's screen. She tapped it, and her expression shifted, something darker, more dangerous. Oh, this just came in. Karen, you have a daughter, right? Melissa? Starting at Princeton this fall? Karen lunged forward. Don't you dare! The FBI agent caught her arm. Ma'am, please step back. I'm not threatening your daughter, Maya said quietly. I'm showing you something. Princeton's admission files from last year, public records request. She turned the screen. Melissa Thompson, legacy admission. Her essay topic, Overcoming Prejudice in Modern America. Someone in economy actually laughed, harsh, disbelieving. Maya read aloud. Growing up, I watched my mother fight against discrimination in her workplace. As a female aviation professional, she faced constant bias. Maya looked up. She wrote about you being discriminated against, while you were systematically destroying careers of people who looked like me. Karen collapsed completely, sliding to the floor. The irony was so perfect it felt scripted, but the emails were real, the evidence undeniable. Captain Williams's phone rang again. He listened, face grave. Miss Johnson, that was CEO Richardson, former CEO Richardson. He wants to speak with you. Maya took the phone, put it on speaker. Richardson's voice boomed through the cabin. Maya, this has gone far enough. End this now, and we can discuss a settlement. A settlement? Maya's voice could have frozen fire. You knew! You all knew what was happening on these flights. We have policies. You have paper policies. Meanwhile, Karen trained 73 flight attendants in her unofficial guidelines. I have the training videos. Gasps from the crew. They all recognize themselves in that number. You recorded us? A flight attendant whispered. No. You recorded yourselves. Company phones, company property. Maya pulled up another file. January 15th this year. Annual crew meeting. Should I play the audio where you all laugh about the ghetto lottery, your term for black passengers trying to claim discrimination? The live stream comments exploded. CNN had picked up the feed. The New York Times was transcribing in real time. Sky Horizon's stock price fell another 12%. Marcus, the 8-year-old, stood in the middle of the aisle. My mom couldn't visit Grandma last Christmas. You said our tickets were invalid. His mother tried to pull him back, but he stood firm. You said we were trying to steal seats. But we paid. We saved all year. Maya knelt beside him again. What's your last name, Marcus? Williams. She searched her iPad, found it. December 23rd, previous year. 2 tickets, canceled at gate. Reason, documentation concerns. Signed, K. Thompson. Your tickets were real, Marcus. Your money was real. The only thing fake was the reason they stopped you. The boy's mother began crying. Not sad tears, angry ones. The kind that came from recognizing a wound you'd tried to ignore. Maya stood, addressed the cabin. In my hand, I hold records of 4,712 similar incidents, each one signed by someone on this plane. She let that number sink in. 4,000 lives disrupted. 4,000 dreams deferred. 4,000 times someone like Marcus was told they didn't belong. The evidence was overwhelming. The guilt is undeniable. But Maya wasn't finished. The real bomb was about to drop. Maya stood in the center of the aisle, every eye locked on her. The iPad in her hand felt like a weapon, like scales of justice finally balanced. 3 days ago, she began, her voice carrying to every corner of the plane. I completed the purchase of Sky Horizon Airlines for $3.7 billion. The seller, Richardson, thought M. Johnson was Michael. The board thought I was a hedge fund representative. Even my own lawyers were instructed to use only my initials. She pulled up her LinkedIn profile, held it high. The photo showed her in the same suit she wore now, but standing in front of Sky Horizon headquarters. CEO, Sky Horizon Airlines. Verified checkmark. I bought this airline for one reason, to be here, today, on this flight. She turned to Karen, still crumpled on the floor. To meet you. You bought a company to destroy me? Karen's voice was hollow. No, I bought it to destroy what you represent. Maya opened another document. But here's what you don't know. This flight? It wasn't random. I've been planning this for 6 months. Ever since you did this. She swiped to a video. Her own face, 6 months younger, being dragged off a different Sky Horizon flight. The same handcuffs. The same humiliation. But no cameras that time. No witnesses who cared. Remember me now? Karen's eyes widened. Recognition flooded in. You said something that day, Maya continued. When I told you I'd paid for my ticket, you laughed and said, people like you will never own anything that matters. You were wrong. Captain Williams stepped forward. Miss Johnson, I had no idea. You had every idea. Maya's voice turned to steel. You signed off on 38 passenger removals this year alone. All of them looked like me, or like Marcus, or like his mother. She turned to the FBI agent. Agent Harrison, I'm formally requesting a federal investigation into systematic civil rights violations by Sky Horizon Airlines, specifically naming Karen Thompson, Captain Williams, and 47 other employees whose names are in the file I'm sending you now. Her finger hovered over the send button. But first, Karen, I want to give you a chance. 4 minutes. Explain to these people why you thought you had the right to destroy so many lives. Karen stood slowly, using the wall for support. Her perfect uniform was wrinkled, her makeup streaked. She looked at the cameras, at the passengers, at Marcus. Her mouth opened, closed, opened again. I was protecting standards. Whose standards? The airlines. Try again! Karen's voice dropped to a whisper. I don't know. Yes, you do. Say it. The words came out broken. White standards. White comfort. White spaces. The admission hung in the air like poison finally expelled. Someone in first class stood up, removed their jacket, and walked to economy. Then another. And another. Within 60 seconds, first class was empty except for Maya and Karen. Maya's phone rang. She answered, speaker on. Maya Johnson. Miss Johnson, this is Director Morrison, FBI. We've been monitoring the situation. We have grounds for immediate arrest on federal hate crime charges. Should we proceed? Every muscle in Karen's body locked. Federal charges meant prison, real prison. Maya looked at Karen for a long moment, the woman who'd humiliated her, who'd humiliated thousands, who'd built a career on crushing dreams. "Director Morrison," Maya said slowly, "I want something more than arrest." "What do you mean?" "Karen Thompson knows every discriminatory practice in this industry, every unofficial policy, every hidden bias. She could expose it all." Karen's eyes widened. "You want me to testify? Against everyone? I want you to help fix what you broke." "They'll destroy me." "You're already destroyed. The question is whether you want redemption or just revenge." Captain Williams stepped forward. "You can't be serious." "She should be in prison." Maya turned on him. "And you?" "You signed the papers. You knew what she was doing. Half this crew knew." She addressed the cabin. "How many of you laughed at the ghetto lottery joke? How many looked away when someone like Marcus was denied boarding? How many of you were good Germans?" The reference hit like a slap. Several crew members looked at their feet. Maya's phone buzzed. She looked at it, smiled coldly. "Sky Horizon stock is down 31%. The board is calling an emergency meeting. They want me to stop this publicity nightmare." She laughed. "They still don't understand. This isn't a nightmare. This is the awakening." She looked directly into the nearest phone camera, knowing millions were watching. "Every airline watching this, every company that thinks discrimination is acceptable if it's profitable, we're coming for you. The hunting season is over. Now you're the prey." The FBI agent stepped forward. "Miss Johnson, I need an answer. Do we arrest Karen Thompson?" Maya looked at Karen, at Marcus, at the empty first-class cabin that had once been a fortress. Her answer would change everything. Maya let the silence stretch until it became unbearable. Every breath in the cabin seemed synchronized, waiting. Then she spoke, her voice carrying the weight of history. "No arrest. Not yet." Director Morrison's voice crackled through the phone. "Miss Johnson, she violated federal—" "I know what she violated, but prison won't fix the system. Prison makes martyrs, not teachers." Maya turned to Karen. "You have 72 hours to provide the FBI with every discriminatory practice you know. Every airline, every executive, every training video that taught hate as policy." Karen's knees buckled again. "They'll kill me." "Not literally, but—" "Your career is already dead. Your reputation is ash. The only question is whether Melissa gets to tell people her mother helped fix things, or just broke them." The mention of her daughter made Karen sob. Real tears this time, not performance. Maya pulled up another screen on her iPad. "I'm announcing the Maya Johnson Foundation for Aviation Equality. $100 million funded today. Its first initiative, hiring Karen Thompson as Director of Reconciliation Training." Gasps rippled through the cabin. Even the FBI agent looked stunned. "You're hiring me? After everything? I'm conscripting you. You'll travel to every airport, every training center. You'll stand in front of rooms full of people and explain exactly how you became what you became, how bias gets institutionalized, how discrimination becomes policy." Maya's eyes were ice. "You'll relive your shame every single day. But maybe, just maybe, you'll prevent another Karen Thompson from being created." Captain Williams found his voice. "This is insane. She should be prosecuted. You're fired." The words landed like a punch. Williams staggered. "You can't. I own this airline. You're terminated, effective immediately. Your pension is forfeit under the morality clause you signed." Maya turned to the cabin. "Any other crew member who participated in discrimination has the same choice Karen has. Confess, cooperate, and work to fix things, or face prosecution." 3 flight attendants immediately stepped forward. Then 2 more. Finally, the entire crew except for one young attendant named James, who Maya recognized from her research, the only one who'd ever filed complaints about the practice. "James Martinez," Maya called out, "you filed 7 complaints about discrimination, all ignored, all buried." James nodded, tears in his eyes. "They said I was being too sensitive." You're the new chief purser on this flight. Effective immediately. She turned back to her iPad, typing rapidly. I'm also announcing the following changes to Sky Horizon policy, effective immediately. First, all boarding agents will be required to wear body cameras. Second, any discrimination complaint triggers automatic review by an external civil rights organization. Third, 50% of all leadership positions must be filled by minorities within 2 years. The board will never approve, someone started. I am the board. I own 51%. Maya pulled up a document. But since you mention it, I'm dissolving the current board. The new board will be 7 members, 2 civil rights attorneys, 2 former discrimination victims, 2 business leaders from minority backgrounds, and 1 former employee who blew the whistle on discrimination. She looked at James. Interested in a board seat? His mouth fell open. I'm just a flight attendant. You're a flight attendant who chose integrity over career advancement. That's exactly who should be making decisions. Karen stood slowly, wiping her face. Why? Why offer me redemption? I destroyed your life 6 months ago. No, you freed me. Your cruelty made me realize I couldn't fight this system from outside. I had to buy it, own it, change it from within. Maya's voice softened slightly. And because I believe people can change, even you. Marcus tugged on Maya's jacket again. Does this mean my family can fly anywhere now? It means everyone can fly anywhere. No one checks your skin at the gate anymore. His mother stepped forward. Miss Johnson, thank you. Don't thank me. Help me. Every person on this plane is a witness. You all have phones. You all have social media. Share this. Demand better from every company. Make discrimination expensive. Make it fatal to careers. Make it impossible to ignore. The FBI agent cleared his throat. Miss Johnson, we still need formal statements. You'll have them. But first, this plane is taking off. We're 93 minutes delayed. Every passenger gets their full refund plus a year of free flights as promised. But more importantly, when we land, it'll be in a different world. One where Karen Thompson teaches instead of terrorizes. Where James Martinez makes policy instead of being ignored. Where Marcus and his mother never have to wonder if their tickets are really valid. She turned to address the nearest camera. To every airline CEO watching, you have 48 hours to submit your discrimination policies for external review. Refuse, and I'll use my remaining $2 billion to buy your companies too, one by one, until the skies are truly friendly for everyone. Captain Williams, still reeling from his termination, made one last attempt. The union will fight this. The union will celebrate this. You think pilots want to be associated with discrimination? You think they want their profession stained by bigotry? Maya pulled up her phone. I have 17 messages from union reps asking to meet. They want to be part of the solution. She looked around the cabin one more time. History had been made at 30,000 feet, or rather, still at the gate. The plane finally pushed back from the gate, but nobody returned to their original seats. First class remained empty except for Maya, who sat in 1A, the seat she'd paid for 189 days ago. The rest of the passengers had redistributed themselves throughout the cabin, creating an impromptu integration that would have been unthinkable 2 hours earlier. Karen Thompson sat in the last row of economy, laptop open, already writing her first confession. Her fingers trembled as she typed, My name is Karen Thompson. For 23 years, I was a racist. I didn't use slurs. I didn't burn crosses. I did something worse. I made discrimination look professional. James Martinez, still stunned by his promotion, moved through the cabin with grace he'd hidden for years. At each row, he stopped, introduced himself, apologized for the airline's past failures. His sincerity broke something open in the passengers. A businessman in a $1,000 suit stood up. I need to say something. His voice cracked. I've flown this airline for 15 years. I've watched this happen dozens of times. People removed, seats mysteriously double-booked, tickets questioned. I said nothing. Every time I said nothing. He looked at Maya. I'm Robert Chen, managing partner at Chen, Morrison and Associates. We're one of the largest law firms in the country. I'm offering pro bono representation to anyone who's ever been discriminated against by any airline. No fees, no limits. Maya nodded. Mr. Chen, the Foundation will provide you with our list of 4,712 documented cases. I'll need more lawyers. Then hire them. The Foundation will cover salaries for a team of 50. Another passenger stood an elderly black woman in pearls and dignity. I'm Dr. Patricia Johnson. No relation, just coincidence. I'm 83 years old. In 1967, I was the first black woman to get a pilot's license in Alabama. You know how many commercial flights I was allowed to fly? 0. They said passengers wouldn't feel safe. She pulled out her phone, hands steady despite their age. I'm calling my granddaughter. She runs the largest flight school in Atlanta. Starting tomorrow, we're offering free lessons to any minority student who qualifies. The Maya Johnson Foundation shouldn't have to fight alone. Marcus had made his way to Maya's seat, his Spider-Man backpack bouncing. He held out a piece of paper, a drawing made on a napkin. It showed 2 figures holding hands in front of an airplane. One tall, one small, both brown. This is you and me, he said simply. Heroes. Maya's composure finally cracked. A single tear escaped before she could stop it. Marcus's mother appeared, carrying her own phone. Miss Johnson, the video of my son being turned away last Christmas. I still have it. I have all the emails, the complaint I filed that went nowhere. I'm ready to testify. So am I, another voice called out. Then another, and another. Within minutes, 17 passengers had identified themselves as discrimination victims, each with stories, each with evidence, each ready to stop hiding their hurt. Karen looked up from her laptop, mascara-streaked face raw with recognition. I remember you, she said to Marcus's mother. You were so polite. Even as I destroyed your Christmas, you said please and thank you. I used that against you, told security you were being suspiciously cooperative. Why? The mother's voice held no anger now, just exhaustion. Because I could. Because the system let me. Because. Karen's voice broke completely. Because 30 years ago when I started, a passenger told me I was just the help and would never be anything more. He was wealthy, white, male. I decided I'd rather be him than me. I became him. The cabin went silent except for the engine hum. Maya stood, walked to the intercom. Ladies and gentlemen, this is your owner speaking. The absurdity of the phrase broke the tension. Several people actually laughed. When we land in Chicago, you're not just disembarking from a flight. You're disembarking from an old world. Each of you has a choice. Stay silent and complicit, or speak up and change things. She paused, looking at each face. The hardest part isn't fighting discrimination. It's admitting we all participate in it, actively or passively. Today, we stop being passive. Her phone buzzed. She glanced at it, smiled. American Airlines just announced a full review of their boarding policies. Delta's following suit. United's CEO wants to meet tomorrow. The movement had started. The witnesses were transforming into warriors, but the most important transformation was just beginning. 6 months later, Maya Johnson stood in the same first-class cabin of a different Sky Horizon flight, but everything had changed. The crew was a rainbow of faces James Martinez had recruited from communities that had never imagined they could work in aviation. The passengers reflected America's actual demographics for the first time in the airline's history, and in the back row, Karen Thompson was completing her 200th reconciliation session, teaching a group of new hires about unconscious bias. Marcus ran up the aisle. His family was taking their first vacation since that December they'd been turned away. His mother followed, tears of joy replacing tears of humiliation. They were flying first class, upgraded by James personally. "Miss Maya," Marcus shouted. "Look!" He held up his junior pilot wings, earned from Dr. Patricia Johnson's flight school. "I'm gonna fly planes when I grow up." "You're going to fly wherever you want," Maya told him. Her phone buzzed with the latest numbers. The Maya Johnson Foundation had processed 23,000 discrimination cases. 14 airlines had implemented body cameras. The industry had hired 40,000 minority employees. Stock prices had initially crashed, then soared as younger, diverse customers flooded back to flying. Karen approached, her appearance transformed. Gone was the severe makeup, the rigid posture. She looked human. Tired, but human. "Maya, I need to tell you something. Melissa, my daughter, she changed her thesis topic. She's writing about me, the real me, the person I was, and who I'm trying to become." Karen's voice broke. "She's proud of me. Not for what I was, but for admitting what I was." Maya nodded. "Redemption isn't erasure, it's evolution." The captain announced descent into Los Angeles. As the plane lowered through clouds, Maya looked out at the cities below, millions of people, each with their own stories of discrimination faced or ignored, participated in or fought against. She opened her phone, typed one final message to her 50 million followers. "Your silence is someone else's handcuffs. Next time you see discrimination at work, at stores, at schools, remember this flight. Remember you have power. Use it." The plane touched down gently. Everyone applauded not for the landing, but for how far they'd all traveled.